Some people have been asking me what's taking so long, and they're also wondering if I'm upset or not when it comes to Zebec. But what do they mean by that? Well, what they mean by that is typically how, as of right now, we still haven't seen the super app launch yet when it comes to the mobile version. Whereas in the roadmap, it was supposed to launch in the middle of March, but we haven't seen it as of right now. We've seen the desktop version, but we haven't seen the mobile version. Not to mention, before the end of May, they were supposed to basically launch this card, right, in regard to a collaboration of sorts with a meme called Mystery, and seemingly we haven't heard anything about that yet. So I'm going to break this all down and explain how, despite all this, why I'm not necessarily upset. But I first want to clarify nothing I say is financial advice, and I am not telling anyone to anything. So again, just to kind of circle back to my first point, am I kind of annoyed or upset, I should say, that we're this far in 2026 and we still haven't seen the mobile version of the Super App? Well, the short answer is no, because initially they were supposed to launch it in the middle of March, but we haven't seen it as of right now. But I think if anything, it showcases that they're putting effort, right? Because I think they could have easily just, I don't know, launched it very quickly, but then maybe the finished product wouldn't be so good. And what are we in a hurry for anyways? Like, in a sense where Zebec's not in a hurry, I'm not in a hurry. So, okay, if they are taking more time to kind of make the mobile version better, what's so bad about that? Sometimes great things do take time and patience. At least they have the desktop version. At least there's that. It's like this, for instance. Let's say I'm doing a test and I get 95 questions correct and I get 5 wrong. If we think about it purely, that's still an A, right? It's not like it's a fail or anything like that. So if we take a look at Zebec, yeah, sure, they've been delaying sort of the launch of the mobile version of the super app because we haven't seen it as of right now. But they at least delivered on the Stellar partnership, on the Ripple partnership, on the Algorand partnership. They've delivered on achieving an aspect of ISO 20022, MICA, and SOC2. So if they've done all that and they're having slight hiccups elsewhere, it's completely forgivable for me at least, even though I can't speak on anyone's behalf. Not to mention, if we take a look at the mobile version, they're not just putting, random effort. It's not like that. Even the CEO of Zebec himself said that eventually the mobile version is going to start with 10 chains, and then eventually it's going to become 20 chains, and it's going to kind of match the desktop version when it comes to the chain supported regarding the card side of things on the super app. So it's not really such a bad thing. And keep in mind as well, the concept of the super app in and of itself is consolidating some aspects when it comes to Zebec and just putting it into one place, like for instance, payrolls and the cards and stuff like that, which inherently makes it easier for better adoption moving forward because it makes things a lot more simple. And again, sometimes doing this could take quite a while. So maybe were they a little bit overly optimistic in terms of thinking that the mobile version was going to happen in the middle of March? Yes, in hindsight, I think it was too optimistic, but the fact that it's taking this long, it's not necessarily concerning for me because not too long ago, they did say how it was in the final testing stages or phases or whatever they said. But again, it was kind of in the final stages. So if I consider that, I have no complaints. If anything, it means that it could very well launch soon. Maybe it didn't launch at the intended time in the middle of March, but at least they're doing it anyway. So I have zero complaints. But that's besides the point. Now let's talk about something else that people have been a little bit concerned with, and that is how, again, the Zebec cards, they were supposed to do something with Mystery. It was supposed to go live before the end of May, basically. And again, we're this far in 2026, and we just haven't really heard anything in regard to an update about that. So when it comes to this, again, people are like, whoa, this is a little bit concerning, but we have to consider this. Mystery as a meme. In the past, I would say 30 days. So yeah, basically in the past a month approximately, it's been down almost 97%. So yeah, I mean, maybe there's some hypothetical things going on there. Who knows, right? Maybe there's a reason why they haven't gone live with the mystery card. Keep in mind, mystery is a meme. So again, when people like to say, oh, Zebec hasn't delivered on the mystery card yet. Well, okay, let's take a look at mystery. I mean, again, it's down around 97% in the past 30 days. If some plans slip up when it comes to this, I mean, who's complaining at the end of the day, right? I mean, Mystery, as of right now, has a market cap that is around $100,000. So, yeah, and that's after having an almost 97% decrease in the past 30 days. So that's not too concerning for me when it comes to why Zebec hasn't done the card yet when it comes to mystery. That's a good reason. Maybe the mobile version, in terms of the launch of that being delayed, maybe that's a little bit too overly optimistic. But at the end of the day, again, I'm not too concerned when it comes to this because Zebec has made up for it elsewhere in terms of the Ripple partnership, the Stellar partnership, and so on. So seeing these type of small hiccups doesn't necessarily concern me. If anything, I think it showcases that, you know what, no project is perfect, right? I mean, they can try to plan for things, but it doesn't always go according to plan. And that's kind of the reality sometimes with some of these projects. But it is what it is. I mean, I can't do anything about that. It's like also when it comes to Allbirds, do you know like the shoe company? First of all, it was doing very good. Then it kind of did a bunch of stuff. Maybe it wasn't doing too good. And then they announced that they were going to be focused on AI. And suddenly we saw the stock price just do absolutely fantastic. And then, a slight pullback. So, yeah, I mean, hiccups do happen sometimes, but it is what it is. That's the thing. I mean, I can't control this, but as long as Zebec is still doing its thing, as long as it's still operating, as long as it's basically still continuing, I can't fault them too much on the slight inconsistencies because they have made up for it elsewhere. And now some people may be hypothesizing, right? Some people may be theorizing that, okay, maybe they haven't launched the mobile version because they're experiencing quote unquote financial difficulties. Sometimes they like to say, oh, wow, could Zebec be doing so bad behind the scenes? But my rebuttal is this, right? If they're doing so bad, could they really have done the Stellar partnership and the Ripple partnership? Because that all happened this year. So people are saying, oh, they're struggling because they're doing bad behind the scenes. Well, if they're doing so bad, would Ripple and Stellar have a partnership with them? We got to think about that, right? They usually don't want to do that with something that's struggling. So I don't think that is the root cause. This is just my perspective, just from an outside perspective looking in. That's really about it. I just don't think it's because they're struggling. Yes, the price isn't doing the best when it comes to Zebec, but that's not their core business model anyways. We do know that Zebec as a company holds approximately 50% of the supply of Zebec. We do know that, right? That's no secret. But at the same time, their core business model hasn't been selling off their Zebec holdings to fund their operations. That allegedly is not how they operate. They've been operating so far through, we take a look at the support of many venture capitalists, right? Many backers, and also not to mention they actually have products which generate actual revenue to allow for them to survive. Like for instance, we take a look at their card volume. Last time I checked, it was in tens of millions. Their payroll volume, the last time I checked, it was in the tens of millions, and that was just in the month of April alone. So we got to consider that. Zebec has well over 100 payroll enterprise clients. So their business model hasn't been, panic, I guess, exiting their Zebec holdings. That's not their model anyway. So I just don't see where this whole concept of, oh, wow, Zebec is struggling behind the scenes and all this, I just don't get it because from what I can see, it doesn't seem that way to me at least. And again, their core principle and business model, anyways, isn't selling their Zebec. Actually, as a matter of fact, historically, it's been alleged that Zebec has never sold their holdings, like as a company. So again, when people like to say, oh, Zebec's in trouble and all this, I just don't get it because their payroll volume is still looking pretty good. Their card volume is still looking pretty good, even at a market downturn. And again, in the month of March, they were still doing tens of millions in volume in terms of the cards and also the payroll side of things. They were still doing that in April. So I don't think the delayed launch of the middle of March was necessarily this, big worry that, oh, they're in trouble. It just doesn't seem that way to me. So when people like to say, oh, the price of Zebec is down though, that means they're doing bad. Well, again, their core principle isn't selling Zebec anyway. So that's not concerning. The price could go lower or whatever. It doesn't affect how they're still operating because they don't operate in that way. They don't have to sell their holdings in order to survive, basically. Some other projects out there do that though, but it's just seemingly not the case here. But this is just my mindset as of right now. So long story short, I'm not upset. I'm not concerned. I'm not I would say angry or annoyed that I haven't seen the super app in terms of the mobile version launch yet. That's not a big worry for me, and also not launching the mystery card yet. That's also not concerning for me considering just how much mystery is at a pullback. Again, it's basically been down almost 100% if we think about it, right? It's down around 97% in the past 30 days when it comes to mysteries. So yeah, delaying the launch or maybe never even having the launch ever when it comes to the mystery and Zebec cards, that's whatever at this point. I could care less about that one. But again, when it comes to the mobile version of the super app being delayed, not a concern for me. As long as I do it right, you know what? I have nothing to complain about. So yes, as of right now, we heard basically for the first time in years, MicroStrategy has sold their Bitcoin. Not too much though. It's just like a couple $1 million worth. And people are like saying, "Oh wow, Michael Saylor's leaving and all this." Keep in mind, MicroStrategy has still billions, or should I say, many billions worth of Bitcoin in terms of the dollar amount. So yeah, people are just overreacting as of right now. I feel like when it comes to that, which naturally caused Bitcoin to have a pullback. But you know what? In like 5 years' time, 10 years' time, I don't know if this is going to be something people even care about. It's kind of background noise as of right now. And inherently, we see Zebec being affected as a result of that, in which case it's down around 1.5% in the past 24 hours. So yeah, I mean, it's not like too bad, but at the same time, I'm still holding, I'm still waiting, but that's all I can do. But in the meantime, I'll be making more updates and I'll be still documenting my journey along the way. So I want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a very nice day.